Good evening, everybody. So thought I'd share something I was working on this weekend. Got had some kind of free time between other things, and I decided to try my hand at making those like scrap metal kind of art projects. So got my shop dog helping me. He's a big help. So I'm very lucky that was able to scrounge some stuff from the farm as we were cleaning the shop out. So I got this kind of bucket of bearings and just random wrenches to like grinders and stuff. And as I've said before, my brother's a motorcycle mechanic, so he sent me this big box of parts, just random broken parts. Like there's like sprockets and all kind of cool stuff in there. So, and he said he's got more coming. So then I've also got these brake rotors I'm going to use. Maybe that old bearing. There's some old crank pulleys and push rods from a 351M Ford and broken sockets and whatnot. So anyway, what I decided to make, or tried to make this first time, so I made this. It was my first attempt, so I'm pretty proud of it. I think it turned out okay. There's a few things I'd change now. One of them being that I was just using flux core wire on my welder. I wasn't using my gas, so there's a little bit more slag on it, excuse me, than I would have preferred. But for a first shot, it was pretty cool. So some of the things that are on it, the base of it is actually, so like this part here is the bottom for like a GM factory bumper jack from like the 70s and 80s. That spring is just a broken motorcycle part. It was on some kind of shaft. I had to take some snap rings off and take some sprockets and stuff off. Or I can't remember. It was in that box my brother sent me. Front wheels were just some bearings that were at the farm. I don't know if they're for a door or like the rollers for a door or something. These are actually grinder wrenches. Like, can you buy an electric grinder for changing the blades? Just bolts for like the frame. Some other bearings. Those came from my brother. The exhaust pipe are actually some old extra Allen wrenches that I had, or hex keys, I guess. The hood scoop is part of a chainsaw wrench. These sides with the kind of the serrated edge, those are actually swather teeth for like on a swather for cutting the grain or whatever. They were in the shop. My parachute ended up being kind of off to the side, but those are just two wing nuts, and I kind of cut the one, and then I even used the cutoff. I'm going to clean the welds up under there a bit more, but I don't know if it's focused or not, but I used the kind of the top of the head for the bolts, kind of like the differential. And then the roll bar was like some kind of retainer clip or something that was in with the motorcycle stuff. There's a hitch pin kind of thing I used as the steering column. So I'm going to try and get in there and clean up some of those welds. And then just a washer. It was my first attempt. So like I said, if I was using my my welding with my gas instead of flux core wire, if I was using my solid wire, maybe it wouldn't be so much slag. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. Gave me something to do for the weekend, and kind of, well, I'm second car and puttering and don't have my daughter this weekend. So, but yeah, I'm going to try and clean it up a bit more on the underneath. I'm not going to be able to get everywhere I want to go, unfortunately, but I think next time I'm going to use different wire perhaps. And also I think some of the spots I'm going to try grinding them and cleaning them up as I go instead of waiting till it's all together. I was really excited and enthusiastic, and I was enjoying how it was coming together. So I kind of just started forging through and didn't maybe take the time to, think about some of that stuff as I was doing it. But I kind of found it neat when I was kind of had this idea in my head, and then, looking through this box of parts and different things, and, things that I could use to, if I just, cut the lip off of this thing or bent it a little bit or shave this thing off or whatever, what I could make out of it. So all kinds of cool stuff. Like, I have no idea what this is, but it looks badass. So lots of sprockets, whole bucket full of sprockets. So yeah, free scrap. And my brother said there's more to come. So just as long as I want it, he'll keep saving it for me. There's like snap rings in here, and this is for, I think, for a paint gun. Some old wrenches, again, some more grinding wrenches. My dad went through a lot of grinders, some chain, so just some really like cheap sockets and stuff. Something else I want to try and do, so I'm going to kind of start saving. It's like there's some valve springs in here, so I'm going to start saving the valve springs and some other pieces. I'm going to try and make a chessboard. So use certain pieces to do certain things, and yeah, I'm going to try making a chessboard. We'll see. But anyway, thought I'd share that. It's pretty fun to make that. So there's sorry, my heater's turning on here. But yeah, so it's kind of fun. I didn't bother setting up my welding table, so I was just welding. I just pulled the liners off my table here, so I got quite a bit of splatter on it, but I really don't care. But yeah, so anyway, y'all have a good night. I'm going to try and clean that up a bit more. I'm not, like I said, I'm not quite sure I'm going to get into some of those spots, but if it stays like that, it stays like that. I'm not going to bother painting it or anything, so not sure if I'm just going to give that one away or what's going on. So anyway, take care.